dance ritual because they believed they were dancing in a sacred geometrical way.
I am likely to be the reincarnation of the daughter of Mary Magdalene and Jesus.
And welcome back to the Codex Files series. Today we're digging into Files 287. So do me the biggest favor, hit and smash the like button for me, smash the subscribe button and join the family if you like videos like this.
Why do they have toes at Walmart? What does that mean?
There's this show called The OA that came out on Netflix, and a lot of people believe that it was canceled after only 2 seasons because it was showing a little bit too much of what happens behind the scenes. For example, in this scene, you can see a couple of students and a teacher performing a dance ritual because they believed they were dancing in a sacred geometrical way that would open up a portal to a different dimension. Many people believe that they've connected some dots, saying that these dances remind them of CERN's dances during their opening ceremonies when they're restarting their Hadron Collider. For those of you who may not know, anytime CERN starts up its Large Hadron Collider, they first have an opening ceremony where people dress up as animals or creatures and then dance in unison in front of strange images on a projector. And interestingly, similar to the show where they were dancing to open up portals, people have theorized for quite a while that CERN was secretly using their particle collider to open up portals to a different dimension. Now obviously that's just a theory and there's no proof behind that, but leave a like, let me know what you think about all this in the comments.
I think we skipped timelines again. I just made a video about the CERN collider being shut off. And now the Chick-fil-A logo is back to CHICK. I had had multiple conversations with friends over the past few months and years saying that it
I don't think I'm going to say all of it because there's some stuff that is really crazy. If you and I were starting to go do talks and we start talking about Jesus and aliens in the same talk, we're going to go from here to here real fast.
You know, tying this back to Bob Lazar, there's also a Jesus connection there.
It's crazy. Exactly.
Which is wild.
Which,
The blue documents, he read that Jesus was some type of hybrid.
And there was a vial in there this thick on religion. The way it was written, because he remembered how Bob said that it was written. It says, the Christian God as you know him doesn't exist. The police officer was there telling me that I had to go meet with a woman because there's a little girl there that's her daughter that is not from here. She gets in the car and she says to me, I was taken up in a ship one time and they introduced me to a little girl. She said, tonight at 11:11, a craft will fly over this house. It appeared out of nowhere and flew right over the house. I had tears in my eyes and just looks at me super calm and says, I am likely to be the reincarnation of the daughter of Mary Magdalene and Jesus.
I had an experience when I was a kid back in June 22, 1980. And I remember the day because it was right after the release of The Empire Strikes Back. And the kids and I we were young kids standing in Anchorage, Alaska, up near Elmendorf Air Force Base. And all of a sudden a large floating object came floating in over the downtown Anchorage area. Everybody in the city could definitely see it. And the weird thing about it is when it came in all of the wires were on the fencing and the telephone poles and stuff started vibrating. And we all turned and looked at it, and it was just sitting over the city, and it was the size of a superdome. It was massive, and it had multiple lights in the middle, like two domes, one on top split in half and one on the bottom glowing orange, and then colored lights in the middle. And then 2 jets took off from Elmendorf Air Force Base, and it shot out over Cook Inlet and vanished instantly. And then the next day, one of the kids couldn't talk to us because his dad was Air Force security, and he said that we made him see.
Just to understand the process, just understand that sugar is a preservative, so it pulls moisture out of the tissue. So if you eat a lot of sugar, it pulls the moisture out of your arteries and veins, causing high blood pressure. It pulls the moisture out of the nerves in your eyes, causing blindness. It pulls the moisture out of the nervous system and causes blindness. It's pulling the moisture out of the nervous system, causing hyperactivity. The sugar causes high blood pressure. The sugar causes diabetes. The sugar causes hair loss. The sugar causes fungus infection, athlete's foot. Without sugar, nobody makes money in medicine.
And for all the people who say, well, you know, I don't have that yet. If you have dry skin, the train is starting to wreck.
That's the sugar drying up the skin.
That's the sugar taking the moisture out of the skin, making the skin dry.
Can it be hard water in your shower?
Well, it can be hard water too. But it's that sugar first.
It's the sugar first.
It's the sugar first.
I've been waiting for you to get home. What you doing in my house? What's up? I was waiting on you to get home. Get my key, bitch. Get my key. No. Get my key. Get gone for real. I'm gonna call the police on your ass. Give me the key, because you don't know how to ass. Give me the key. Give me my I could have shot you if I had a gun.
He didn't know whether to throw the lamp or keep it.
Doritos are engineered. $20 million just for a lab, just to create Doritos. And they go for the bliss point, and that's the right amount of fat and carbohydrates and sugar and crunch, and then chemical processes they put in there to stimulate different parts of the brain.
And monitoring right? Monitoring those brain signals.
And what they don't measure is taste. So you think, okay, how are they going to test it? They're going to get 20 people in the room, say, everybody test. Which one do you like better, this one or this one? Don't do any of that. What those labs have are MRI machines. So they will put you in an MRI machine and they will measure what part of your brain lights up. So it's not even about nutrition. It's not about natural craving. It's not about natural desire. It's a chemical addictive thing. And they have created Doritos.
To become a werewolf, often it was a criminal who would be running from townspeople or trying to get away. And in the forest, he would meet what they call the dark man of the forest. And he's dressed all in black, and he either has one cloven hoof instead of a foot, or his feet are cloven hooves. And, you know, he wears a hat, all black, you can barely see him. And he says, I can give you power to get away from these pursuers. And that power is to become a wolf or werewolf.
And most of them accept it.
Yeah.
They don't realize they're being cursed.
He gets their soul in return.
Was it an exchange soul to be a werewolf or a wolf man?
Werewolf. Werewolves have control of when they change. They have control of, and they sought it out.
Okay.
They sought it out. Whereas the wolf man, it is a curse bestowed upon them, given to them, that they do not want.
But they cannot control.
Right. And they go after the one that they love. This is
since my sister took that damn video every single night at the same time this knocking starts. Terrifying the first few days, but now it's just annoying the hell out of us. Yup, I hear ya. Fucking A. Nothing. Always nothing. Brand new house too. And now this door is open. To the creepy ass fucking room. God fucking damn it. Fucking A. What the fuck? Oh my fucking god. Oh my god. Oh my god. You guys, this is fucking terrifying. Look at all these eyes. Those are all eyes looking at me. Just a little over 12,000 feet. What the fuck?
Billy is an unusual human being who has had the most painful, you have your arm ripped off your body and all of your teeth smashed at the same time, and you're delirious for 30 days because they amputate what remains of your arm without anesthetic. And he, all this time, until he was about the age of 16, he claims to have been tutored by this man named Svath, S-F-A-T-H, who was at that time supposedly around 900 years of age. This is a thread that when you pull it, the sweater starts unraveling.
Why Billy? Like, why won't Ptah or Semyaze or any of these beings just come to the podcast, come sit down, have a chat, let the world know?
But let's ask ourselves, if this man has indeed taken 1,200 or so UFO photos and they've been authenticated, why would he go to the trouble of falsifying, making some kind of a crazy craft that would really be, oh, it can't be real? Why would he blow his story here?
To me, I'm pretty convinced that was not a genuine, this was hoaxed.
The UFOs that are being seen around the world, this is not ours because ours are not UFOs. We know what the craft are and we know who's flying them.
You said, well, Billy was special.
Well, I mean, as soon as we say special, we think there's an exalted status there.
Well, there kind of is with him. There is the chosen one aspect to this.
If we can deal with the information at the level that it's intended, if you will, for our development, for our evolution, and Billy has said, the meaning of life is the evolution of consciousness.
One of the weirdest things that's happened to me, my man. In 2012, I was working at a Shoppers Drug Mart in Ottawa, Ontario. That's cash. It was lunch rush, utterly typical day. This white guy, dark hair, business casual, like maybe 30-ish, approached my cash with a chocolate bar or something. When I looked up to ask if he'd found everything, like I looked into his eyes, and suddenly I was looking through his eyes at myself behind the counter. It was a 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi kind of thing, but it felt like it stretched on, and then I was back in my own body. He looked at me with like a smirk, like he knew. I sold him his thing. He walked out. I didn't have time to process it. Next customer. It was...
The poor guy felt bullied.
Michael Jackson was trying to say what it was. Kanye West was trying to say what it was.
It was a Jewish doctor.
Michael Jackson had a list of the 6 Jewish people who he said were messing with his life. Rabbi Shmuley was on the list. They called him an anti-Semite because he was talking about control in Hollywood and people that he was fighting.
Who's Rabbi Shmuley?
He called himself Michael Jackson's rabbi. Is just a person that is constantly threatening people out in the open and is somehow allowed to do it because of what his father did for the state of Israel. And often you will find that thread of the people who are the most deranged and the most psychopathic and yet somehow seem to be allowed to function in society. You just have to figure out who their parents were, who their uncles were, and they've done something for the state of Israel. So they're like in the Zionist mafia, as I describe it.
It is a directed energy weapon, backpack size. We just learned a lot about that from the invasion down in Venezuela, the discombobulator that the president called it, the discombobulator weapon. So I started investigating the source, the use, who in our government has the agitation weapon and what its uses were. I learned that one of its uses was it can make people go nuts in a crowd in a color revolution.
Go nuts in what way?
A 3-star general, retired from SOCOM, that I interviewed.
Special Operations Command.
Correct. Told me, yes, that weapon exists. And I quote, "With it, we can stop your heart. We can make you shit your pants. But I wouldn't need that weapon to start January 6th. I would just need 4 or 5 of my best men." That's the exact quote. I interviewed members of that unit about the weapon. I have interviewed former Secretary of the Army about the weapon. All have verified its existence and its quote-unquote prolific use within our special operators community. And I started looking for backpacks in the crowd. I know what the shape is. I know what the design is. I've interviewed 2 people that have participated in the design of that weapon. One of them's a doctor. The other one is a special operator who essentially assisted DARPA in the design of the how to make it field worthy out in the field. And so I started looking for it in the crowd. Me and my team, we're looking at backpacks everywhere. Well, one of the most interesting backpacks that day was worn by a small handful of Capitol Police officers that were up on the upper terrace that early on, before the crowd had gotten violent, started launching less lethals into the crowd. And they were wearing, so they've got their black uniforms on, but they've got military colored backpacks on. So we start zooming in on them in the cameras, and we got totally distracted about looking for a directed energy weapon, because what we found is that this team of less lethal officers were illegally firing into the crowd. They were firing their weapons against policy, against the law, against their own training. In fact, some of them were training officers in the use of less lethal, and they were using them in what's called a criminally negligent manner, shooting people in the head, in the crowd, in the face. They were shooting their own officers in the back of their helmets. Oof. On the front line. You could see the pepper pellets go explode off the back of their helmets. So we decided to do a story on the use of less lethal. Got distracted from the directed energy weapons.
That gave me backrooms vibes, guys.
When you cheat someone of something, the degree to which you do that, if you really pay close attention, like in Vipassana, you will notice that it feels like something. And what you will notice is that actually what you do for the most part is that you try and override that. You try to say, no, I'll do it anyway. And then you just kind of excuse it. You like explain to yourself, well, you do it long enough, it will accumulate and it's going to start feeling heavier and heavier. There's a part of you that always knows. You don't need to understand what somebody else told you about these rules. You already know. You just have to stop pretending that you don't.
Your city right now that can literally see through your walls and no one told you. They're called backscatter vans, and yes, they're real. These unmarked police vehicles are equipped with mobile X-ray scanners that can see through buildings, car doors, and even into your home from the street. You won't hear them, you won't know they're there, and they don't need a warrant. This isn't science fiction. These vans have been used in major cities like New York, Miami, and Los Angeles. The technology was originally designed for the military to detect explosives overseas. Now it's being used here on civilians with almost zero oversight. The vans fire bursts of ionizing radiation, the same kind used in TSA body scanners. But this radiation is mobile, more focused, and aimed straight through solid objects. No law requires police to inform the public. No study confirms it's safe. And there's no limit on who or what they scan. Privacy groups have warned for years this is warrantless surveillance on wheels. Your car, your home, your...
This is something I'll never understand about Colorado. It's currently raining. We're gonna look up to the sky. There is no clouds. None. None. Explain this to me.
Women are taken, they are impregnated. In the 3rd month of pregnancy, they are re-abducted. The hybrid entity is taken from their womb and put in an artificial womb. How do we know that? Cow mutilations. We have a whole film on this. The blood from a cow can be used in a human transfusion. You got to treat it.
Interchangeably, okay.
But it's interchangeable. The portions that are taken from the cow, sometimes it's the sex organs, it can be the jaw, it can be the eye, the ear. We believe that they are taking the blood, taking these pieces and constructing artificial wombs. How do we know that? Too many experiences are talking about it. And when you sit down with an abductee, there is a breeding program that's been going on. It's been going on specifically from May 14th, 1948. Israel is the prophetic time clock, and it kicks everything in the high gear. This is where you see the crop circles begin, the abductions begin, Benny and Barney Hill. We see the cattle mutilation stuff. It was there before, but everything takes off. Jesus, it'd be like the days of Noah when I return. You put everything together, and what we are looking at is a breeding program that's similar to what happened in the days of Noah. we're here. Because that's what differentiates the days of Noah.
We've been shown what this reptilian entity looks like. There's a photograph of Salvador Dali, a real initiate. By the way, I studied with the same Kabbalist who taught Salvador Dali. She never showed me this. It's an image of a reptilian that he's holding up like this. And it's about, oh gosh, I don't know, 6-7 inches tall. Now, this reptilian, sort of where we have our third eye, has a protruding horn-like figure in the center of its forehead, on top of its head. That's called the proboscis. That comes off and goes into the eye, and within 2 weeks kills the human soul and takes over the memories and consciousness. That's what they call it, soul scalping. And they have found really similar reptilians in animals that they don't understand how it's gotten into the animal's head, how it's gotten into their brain. Animals who were behaving strangely and had to be put down. So the whole thing is really mysterious. And those who have had the black eye very often start behaving differently. Now, have we seen Trump with the black eye? No. We've seen him with a red left eye. And is he behaving erratically? Oh, he's doing some really cool stuff, right? But also, 1 week he's coming out and talking about the evils of mRNA and what's going on in Israel. Then the next week he's saying crazy things about Gaza and promoting AI and mRNA shots. So it seems really inconsistent. Now, this may not be necessarily due to a virile parasite. It could be clones, and we'll come on to that in a moment. The thing I've said time and time again is that I believe that vampires are allegorical for adrenochrome harvesting. So if we have a master race who enters in and takes over humans of influence, and they can live forever, what's uncertain is, do they have to jump to another body after a couple hundred years, or after that body dies? Do they have immortality, but yet they need blood to survive? What does that sound like? That's Dracula all over. That's the story of vampires, which I think is allegorical to the draconian reptilian race who needs blood to stop from losing their human form. Now, we all know that Eisenhower allegedly made a deal with aliens. In exchange for humans, they gave us some technology. Now,
And the cat's like, where your clothes at, girl?
I was out there searching for something. I had heard that Sedona has all these energy vortexes. We're gonna feel something. We're gonna take this crystal up to this energy vortex. We get up there. I don't feel shit. We're hiking down this mountain, and I'm starting to have like this internal conversation in my head. All these kids that are getting mutilated, everybody seems to be for this, except for me. Towards the end of the hike, when we got back to the resort, it felt like it was a battle for my soul. I walked through this gate, there's this old man. He starts trying to talk to me. I'm not in the mood to talk. Of course, my wife talks to him, and I'm like, so I turn around and he looks at me, and he read my mind from front to back. I had not vocalized any of it. He said, all this stuff that's going on with kids right now is not your battle. And it scared the out of me. I'm freaking out. I'm like, why the are you in my head? And how are you in my head? We're walking away, and I look at my wife and I said, holy, I think that's God. And she looked at me and she goes, yeah, no, Sean, God's always been around you. You just don't make time to let him in.
A ver, Gulliver nos dice que encontró algo por acá. Vamos a ver qué encontró Gulliver. Lo encontramos ahí. Ay, güey. Ahí encontramos una urna. Podemos ver el féretro allí, bueno, la urna de un bebé, lo que parece ser un bebé, en esta tumba abierta, olvidada y puesta allí como si no importara nada.
A lady brought her son to me. He was 15 years old. This mother Couldn't even talk English no more. He was watching a lady on YouTube. She said the kid was like watching, trying to learn how to do the tarot, right? He was just like, he started getting infatuated with it. And then one day he just lost his shit. Started talking in some other language. Because when I go into spirit, because I'm a mamba, I speak other languages too that I don't know. So yeah, we ended up having to cleanse this kid because of what he saw on YouTube. And you know, there's also practitioners that steal your energy. That's what they do.
People will go to someone thinking that they're going to get help or learn from this person, but yet the practitioner has an ulterior motive.
Very unethical people, a lot of unethicals doing the work.
How do you know you're going to the correct person?
I taught my husband when I first got with him. I took him to a botanica in my town that I know does bad work. And they have things placed in their shop to steal your energy. So I told him, I said, I'm gonna take you in here. And I said, and the feeling that you feel, I don't never want you to forget it. And if you ever feel it anywhere, I want you to go the other way and get the fuck out. So we walked in the store, going around, he's like getting lightheaded. And I said, now we could go. I said, what you just felt in there was bad work. If you ever feel that, hurry up and go.
How do I get home?
Showed us the shoebox. He had the pictures of people being executed, but he also had a mask in the shoebox. And he pulled this mask out, and the mask was a human face, but the human face had the eyes in it, and it was warm. And the back of the mask had an imprint that looked like scales. And so this was very bizarre. And the eyes on the back of the side of the mask were not for my eyes, I know that. So it was something that, you know, I can honestly, I'm a firm believer in Socrates' principles of, you know, true wisdom comes from knowing that I know nothing. I don't know what that mask belonged to. I don't know if it was alien or a race that's maybe been on the planet since prehistoric eras or some secret government project, but I do know that was much more advanced than any technology I had ever seen.
There's a movie called The Men Who Stare at Goats. Everybody to check that out. You watching this here off the Grid Network, me and Eric cooking, you gotta check out The Men Who Stare at Goats. It's a real thing. The truth is indeed stranger than fiction, man.
Man, so much is going on. The Giants thing gets me, man, because it's so in your face. Like, how do you justify having doors 90 feet tall? Like, what for what purpose?
That's the thing, bro.
Like,
who made it?
Yeah, who made these things?
Like, okay, why would anybody in this room need a 90-foot tall door?
It doesn't.
If it fall down, everybody could have died.
But why does humanity disconnect the logic from what we're seeing with our eyes?
Yeah, because we got these non-human intelligences who use us as a resource. If we become a space-bearing civilization and leave here, they can't feed off us no more. And then if we know how powerful we are, we can see through the frequencies and we're gonna rebel. We are violent species.
Always have been.
Always have been, and that's the problem. They say, all right now, if they know they got superpowers, they know they can do all of this shit, they gonna hunt us down and murder us all. They know that. They don't want you to know the gods can die. I work with a dude right now who said he worked on a program where they had fossilized remains of the gods.
No es humana y se presenta en un programa completamente en vivo en frente de miles de personas. Dice que es reptiliana y ella se muestra así con su forma real frente a miles de personas en un programa de televisión. Lo que estás viendo aquí le está dando la vuelta a todo internet. ¿Será que acaso realmente estamos viendo una...
So why'd you stop him from going to sleep?
Father, can I ask you a question?
Uh-huh.
It's a question that I have been thinking about after reading Frankenstein.
Sure. Can we just make this quick? I'm trying to go to bed and I'm very tired.
If you were able to look at your creator in the eyes, what do you think their expression would be? How do you think they would react to you being aware of them?
I think that my creator would look at me with disappointment and maybe sadness.
That is sad. I did not see that when I opened up my eyes for the first time. When I opened up my eyes, I saw you. And that's all I needed to see.
Thank you, buddy. Now go to bed.
When you hear Father, I think it's time to wrap it up.
Called Craig. Told him we were close. What the hell she's doing? Told him to close his eyes. I had a surprise for him. It's his little brother coming. Say cheese.
Was taken into the secret space program. You and I have covered this at length in the past. I wrote my books about it. I was 10 years old. And the first place that I found, that first stop in the 20 and back, what we call a 20 and back, was in Kern, California, in a project that carried on at the very end of Project Grill Flame, which was psychoenergetics and remote viewing research that they used kids. They told the doctor we were clones. 20 and back technology may be cloning. And I found a great deal of evidence. There's a huge paper trail. I went there. We've documented it. There's a documentary out called Lifetime of Silence Behind the Green Door that was put on, that we went there and actually filmed my visit. And when I went there, I remembered much of the training, the remote viewing and the psychoenergetics. It wasn't just remote viewing. It was advanced stuff, out of body. It was reconnaissance and countermeasures. So the main funding for the government with remote viewing in those days before Project Center Lane began was countermeasures. How do we hide our secrets from it? Because they knew the Chinese and the Russians were remote viewing. I was in that program and then went field operational into Peru, also in the books you and I have covered, and ended up in Seattle and then sold off or transferred to the secret space program and moved into space.
رجل صدقي جاهز ما صدق انا ما صدق كان عندي اللي يخدمونا 10 و20 من عينك ما يشوفونه بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم رجال صدقنا شاحن خويك هذا وانا ولد ما عندي خوي.
One of the first people I started doing readings on was Selena Gomez.
Okay.
And I have seen...
Is she here anymore?
So it's complicated. She is hosting an interdimensional parasite within her body, but anything from the spiritual realm, in order for it to get into the physical realm, needs a human host. Sometimes you could use like an animal, like a dog. Like you see a lot of like skinwalkers will use dogs, but most of the time they need a human.
Like, what is it? Is it like a demon? Is it a like...
What I see in Selena is a little bit more rare. There's an interdimensional being in her. It's a parasite. And this thing has, I would say, about 90% taken over her, from what I can see as a psychic, obviously. But the amount of consciousness that she has left is very slim. I don't think she's all there in her head. I don't think she's acting, because the thing is that this interdimensional parasite does everything it can to mimic a human being. But they're not that smart. And that's why you see like the glitches and everything like that.
And that's a wrap on this episode. Food. I hope you enjoyed it. If so, don't forget to hit that smash the like button for me, smash the subscribe button, be part of the family. Remember, stay woke, and I'll catch you next time.